İngiltere iş hukukunda işler nasıl yürüyor ve uzman bir avukata ihtiyacınız olduğunda hangi şartlarda ne gibi faydalar sağlıyor? İşte bu alanda uzman isim Manak Soliticors avukatlarından Avukat Samir Moftah programımızın konuğu oluyor ve İngiltere iş hukuku alanında önemli bilgiler veriyor. Manak Soliticors bünyesinde sivil davalarda uzman bir isim Avukat Samir Moftah'la birlikteyiz efendim. Bu hafta iş hukukunu konuşacağız. Özellikle işverenin yapması gereken sorumluluklar neler? Bunları kendisinden öğrenmiş olacağız. Hi Mr. Samir, first of all it's a pleasure to have you in my show again. And the first question will be, how can you help businesses with their procedures?
Firstly, thank you again for inviting me. I'm pleased to be here once more. I can help businesses with their procedures a great deal. The most important document you have as an employer, say for your contract, is to have a staff handbook. In a staff handbook, there are a number of policies which govern how your business will run. For example, no smoking policies, uniform policies, or even disciplinary procedures. So the policies are important for two reasons. The first is that you are able to show and demonstrate to your staff the standards that you expect when they work at your business. So if somebody does not follow a procedure, it's very easy to point to the policy and explain to them in a very short discussion what they should be doing, which will help with your discussions. And the second reason is if a matter does not go well and it ends up in the tribunal or a court, you will need to refer to your policies, as it is one of the legal tests, for example, for unfair dismissal. Have you followed a fair procedure? And a court will expect you to have followed your own staff handbook. If you go to that hearing without a staff handbook, you will not be looking very well in front of a court. So it's important to have the policies in place, and it is something I regularly deal with for businesses.
Yeah, so why is it important to have a contract?
So with the contract of employment, it's extremely important for a variety of reasons. The first is that in law, you must give an employee their statement of terms with some basic details on within the first 8 weeks of them being employed by you. If you fail to do that, they can get compensation of several weeks on top of an award for a claim which is attached to it. So there is a financial penalty for that potentially in not following the law. Secondly, the contract governs how you and your employee are going to work together and the expectations of those employees. So the contract protects a business a great deal. For example, confidentiality is often something that clients come to me to ask for help with because they need to protect the confidential information. After all, that is where the value of a business is. So if you want to stop people from misusing confidential information or passing it to competitors, for example, the clauses need to be drafted correctly and to ensure that they're enforceable. There are also clauses around restricted covenants. Covenants are things which stop you from doing something. So the most important one is stopping staff from working for competitors for a short while, which is enforceable in law, so that you have the time to arrange your relationships with your clients and make sure that the business is protected as much as possible. They can also stop employees from going to affect relationships with suppliers, and you can also stop them approaching clients, which obviously is important in the business. So all of those things can be done. But also, just in law, it's important to set out exactly what everybody's going to be doing so that if there's a dispute, it's very easy to resolve because it's written in black and white on your piece of paper.
So what will happen if you do not have your documents in order?
Firstly, in my experience, you will have a very disorganized business. You'll be wasting a lot of time trying to resolve issues. Secondly, when you approach a lawyer and you have no policies in place and you do not deal with things properly, your bill is going to be much higher. I always say prevention is better than cure, and for me, if you have your documents in place, you can make sure that disputes are dealt with quickly and efficiently in a cost-effective way. If you don't have them in place, you will end up in courts or tribunals and you will spend thousands of pounds, but you also spend thousands of pounds in time, which you cannot measure, which is very fatal to a business. You need to be focusing on your business, not on court cases. So that is really the essence of what will happen. But also, if, for example, you're dealing with immigration matters and you want a sponsorship license, as part of that, you will have to demonstrate that you have policies and procedures in place and contracts. If you cannot satisfy that that is happening, you will have staffing issues. It's very important to get it done. I can't advocate that enough.
Okay, so what services do you offer to businesses in employment law?
So I offer a drafting service. So, for example, staff handbooks in employment contracts. I can draft starter documents for them, inductions, appraisal forms, so that you make everybody's job very easy and expectations clear. I can also draft settlement agreements, so they're contracts between an employer and employees when you have a dispute and you need to resolve it, so that you give certainty to a business. I can also help with HR services, either on a one-off basis or on a fixed fee basis throughout the year. So if you have any problems, for example, an employee raises their grievance and you need it dealt with, or you have a person who's not performing and you want it sorted out so that the issue does not continue, I can advise you from start to finish as little or as much as you want. And then lastly, I can assist with tribunal claims. So if the worst happens and the claim is unavoidable, I will defend your interest in court to make sure you get the best result.
Thank you very much for this important information.
Thank you.